we gather to celebrate. The format may shift, the names may change, but at the heart of it all, the home run. Derby Day did not disappoint. He is the king of swing. Vladdy Jr., just as Pops did back in '07, winner at the Home Run Derby, and does it in quite convincing fashion. 25 home runs in the final round, a Derby record, and enough to edge out Randy Arozarena. Nothing junior about him. Vladdy, your winner at the Derby. For instant reaction, we welcome in CBS Sports MLB analyst Will Middlebrooks. Will, it's a night all about fun, and how much fun was that? Let's talk about Vladdy here. There were some great moments, but we got to start with our winner. Joins his dad back in '07 and becomes a home run derby champion here in 2023. What comes to your mind when you think of the spectacle that we just took in?
Well, he's one of those body types that's just built for home runs. Him, Alonso, obviously, they're not necessarily two guys that scream endurance. They're big guys, big, strong guys, and they don't look like they're built for this. But I mean, even when they're tired at 60%, they still have the ability to hit the ball 450 feet. That's just what makes them special. I wouldn't put this home run derby up there with some of the greats back in '99 at Fenway with McGuire and Griffey and Sosa or Josh Hamilton at Yankee Stadium in '08. That was just different times. Obviously, with the format, it was completely different. You're looking at like 3-hour home run derbies. This is a sprint, and it's fun to watch. The intensity's high, and I enjoyed it.
It was so enjoyable, and I will point out the set of circumstances in 1999 also far different than this given go-around, not just the format. We'll get to the format in a moment because I know you have some ideas, perhaps some tweaks here, but what made you say wow the loudest here on Monday night? Because this is a night all about wow. What really caught your attention over these few hours of home runnery?
Well, there were two things. I have to say Adley Rutschman going for both sides of the plate, putting up the big number early, the 27th spot early, and we're thinking, wow, is he going to run away with this thing? Who knew what was coming next? J-Rod at home. They're in Seattle throwing up a 41-piece McNugget in the first round. No one saw that coming at all. I knew he was good. I knew he would be fun and fired up in front of that home crowd, them chanting his name nonstop, even through his last swing of the night, even when he got beat. The energy was wild. That was everything you could wish for. That's something Julio Rodriguez is going to remember for the rest of his life.
Yeah, it's sort of harkened to what you alluded to earlier, maybe that Hamilton round that we all remember, but is not the eventual champion at the end of that home run derby. Let's talk about the format, because if we have a winner that doesn't necessarily match the endurance test that this has become, do you suggest any tweaks, any add-ons? Do you like this setup as opposed to the past? And I know we're a few years into it, but it's really starting to bear itself out in the champions that we are seeing.
Yeah, I don't dislike this format. I think it's good for the game as far as we have a pitch clock now. It's like the game has it has a faster pace. That's just the era we're in with the fans watching the game and what they enjoy, kind of in and out. Enjoy it, but like we don't want to go past 2.5 hours if we don't have to. That's just where we're at in this era of baseball. I like the old format better. I know it's long and drawn out and 2.5, 3 hours long. That's long. I get that, but I miss all the different camera angles, being able to enjoy the majestic 500-foot moon balls. Right now, it's like contact. You get a quick shot of like where the section in the upper deck where it's going, and then they're swinging before that one even lands. Because if you notice this year, there's no official holding their hand up, making them wait until the ball lands. They can just go rapid fire as much as they want because they couldn't really control that anyways or police it. So they took that out, and it is just rapid fire. And I want to sit back and I want to watch how far these balls go. I want these guys to take a little more time so they're not gassed and they're hitting the 500-foot shots. You don't really get to see that anymore.
We got nothing else going. We're going to sit, watch some long balls. This has become a different type of test here in more recent years, but an unbelievable display and almost a buzzer-beater moment there down the stretch for Randy Arozarena, who ran out of gas against Vladdy. This is the first father-son duo now to have won a home run derby. I think maybe there's a larger conversation to be had around the Guerrero family, and maybe it's one that we've already had because Vladdy's been so good day in and day out over these last few years. But to see this sort of success on this similar stage, I mean, it's got to stir something inside of you.
Oh, absolutely. And I have a quick Vladdy Senior story.
Okay.
I'll be quick with it. So David Ortiz always tells this story about how good Vladdy was, but he always talks about how big family was and how much more important that was. He said the first time he ever went to his house in the Dominican, the front door was propped open, and he didn't know what was holding it open, and he opened it, and he had a Silver Slugger award sitting in the floor, propping the door open, holding it. He was using it as a door stopper. It was a Silver Slugger award. There's no big deal. There's 15 of them in here. I'll use one to hold my front door open. And he said he was one of those guys who left his door open for everyone in his area because obviously he had a lot of success. He made a lot of money. And he would have like his whole neighborhood over for dinner almost every night.
It is a family synonymous with baseball, and we add another note to that familial resume and another trophy as well. I think notable in this success here for Vladdy, John Schneider traveling across the country on his week off to throw to the young man here in his eventual winning moment. I think it begs the question, if you were to find yourself in a home run derby in yesteryear, in future years, who knows, Will, who would be throwing to you in those moments?
Well, I can promise you it's not going to be in the future.
I was hanging one out there for you.
And never coming back. I would go with my dad. And
Okay.
it's actually funny because my dad is actually sit up.
Oh, there's the big lefty.
My dad's right here. He's hanging out behind. We're on the All-Star break. My mom and my dad drove down to meet us in Blue Ridge, Georgia to come hang out with the kids. And he did not want to get up and go in the room. He said, "I'll just stay right here. I'll be nice and quiet. You'll never know I'm here." But I would have my dad. My dad's thrown me more BP than anybody in my entire life. So if I could take him and have him experience that moment with me, that would have been a dream come true.
And that looks like a cosign from Pops as well. We know the man can locate. Will, we appreciate you taking the time here. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, guys.
All right, here's a look at your past 6 winners and what it's meant beyond the home run derby. Juan Soto in 2022 had 20 at the break, just 7 after. And yes, we are working with less games beyond the All-Star break, but the pace, it does often slow in the case of Bryce Harper, Pete Alonso, and his first conquest in 2019. We will see what this holds for Vlad Jr. beyond his 13 home runs he had prior to this All-Star break.